In this podcast episode, Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand delve into a wide range of topics, including the collective unconscious, sacrifice, authority, power, the nature of stories, and the contributions of postmodernism. Peterson explains the concept of the collective unconscious as the statistical association between ideas within a culture, which is mapped by large language models. He also discusses the importance of sacrifice in building and maintaining community, drawing parallels between sacrifice and cortical maturation. Brand adds to the discussion by mentioning the language within nature, where even animals respond to certain patterns and symbols. He questions the nature of sacrifice and its evolution in personal relationships, suggesting that the idea of immediacy in sacrifice challenges the basic categories of temporal creatures. He also reflects on the ultimate sacrifice depicted in the New Testament and the concept of a pact made by the sacrifice of the man God, suggesting that it may be a koan where all comes from the same source. Peterson shares a story about Abraham from the Old Testament, highlighting the theme of sacrifice and the covenant between man and God. He explains how Abraham's journey represents the spirit of adventure and the willingness to forego comfort for growth. The story culminates in the ultimate sacrifice of Abraham's son, symbolizing the offering of everything to the highest ideal. Peterson emphasizes the importance of values and ethos in maintaining community and the necessity of upholding these principles. Brand raises the issue of values being co-opted over time and the tension between conservatism and progressivism. He questions the possibility of achieving equality within existing frameworks and suggests that a true expression of the divine feminine may require a different paradigm. He explores the evolution of theology from the Old Testament to the New Testament, drawing parallels with Islam and the idea of performing greater feats than the prophets. He reflects on the urgency and vibrancy of Christianity in Acts, highlighting the call to change the world and become alive with Christ. Peterson highlights the importance of recognizing that we see the world through a story, a narrative that shapes our perceptions. He acknowledges that the postmodernists got this right, as our perceptions are influenced by the stories we tell ourselves. The conversation delves into the story of Moses, where Peterson explains how Moses, as a leader, struggled with the temptation to use power instead of invitation. This leads to a discussion on the dangers of viewing the world as a battleground of power, as the left often does. Peterson argues that while power plays a role, it is not the only driving force behind productivity, relationships, and societal structures. He emphasizes the importance of invitation and voluntary self-sacrifice as alternatives to power. Brand adds to the discussion by bringing up the idea of choosing the soul over material empires, drawing parallels to concepts in different religious texts. He suggests that the ultimate battlefield resides internally, where one must choose self-sacrifice and action over force. He questions whether the benefits of Western civilization, such as progress and stability, are merely inadvertent consequences of a system built on power dynamics. Peterson agrees that the fundamental landscape includes elements of good and evil, tyranny, and slavery. He points out that while power dynamics exist, the solution is not for the oppressed to become the oppressors. Drawing from the Exodus story, he highlights the dangers of falling into patterns of tyranny and the importance of resisting the temptation to use force. The conversation touches on the concept of fluidity, with Brand reflecting on his past experiences of living indulgently and being humbled. He emphasizes the need for openness to solutions and the recognition of the evolving nature of the self. Peterson agrees, noting the importance of self-reflection and behavior in personal relationships. Peterson and Brand discuss the concept of the slave-tyrant dichotomy in the capitalist world, emphasizing the importance of freeing oneself from being a slave to one's own desires and whims. Peterson argues that the solution to this dichotomy is not political revolution, but rather taking on the existential burden of existence voluntarily. Brand shares his personal journey from being a symbol of hedonistic success to exploring mysticism and eventually leaning towards Christianity. He reflects on the impact of addiction and the 12-step program, highlighting the spiritual aspect of overcoming self and surrendering to a higher power. He also delves into the cultural influences that shape our identities and behaviors, pointing out the allure of materialism and hedonism in modern society. Peterson and Brand touch upon the significance of language in creating connections and inducing states beyond literal meaning. They discuss the return to Christianity as a rediscovery rather than a novel discovery, finding a sense of familiarity and resonance in the teachings of Christ. Brand expresses his awe at the depth and richness of biblical texts, acknowledging the transformative power of faith and surrendering to God. The conversation delves into the complexities of power dynamics and the presence of unseen forces at play in shaping individual and collective experiences. Brand reflects on the challenges of navigating societal pressures and cultural norms, emphasizing the importance of self-transcendence and spiritual growth. He shares personal anecdotes about his family life and the profound impact of parenthood on his perspective and values. Overall, the conversations between Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand touch upon a wide range of topics, from the collective unconscious and sacrifice to the nature of authority, power, and the importance of stories in society. They explore the complexities of human existence, the challenges of navigating societal norms, and the transformative power of faith and self-reflection. Through their deep and philosophical discussions, Peterson and Brand offer insights into the nature of existence, the importance of values and ethos, and the potential for personal growth and spiritual transcendence.